A couple of months ago, I made these cute little treat boxes for my daughter-in-law's baby shower. And because her theme was going to be Winnie the Pooh, it was perfect to grab the Silly Old Bear bundle, the designer series paper to go with it, and even the sweet words and labels dies that coordinate with the stamp set or the other bundle, this Sweet Old Friends bundle, and put it all together. So that's what I did here. And then I got some requests wondering how I made it. So I'm just going to show you very quickly how to put the box together, and then I'll talk about each of the other pieces as we go. I'm starting with a piece of early espresso cardstock that is cut 7 inches by 4 inches. And I'm going to put it in first in my trimmer. So the 4-inch side is at the top. And I'm just going to score it a 1/2 inch from each end. So I'm going to, or from each side, I should say. And then I'm going to turn it on the 7-inch side, and I'm going to score it at 1 inch. 1.5 inches, and then flipping it around 4.25 inches. Okay, so here is my piece. We're gonna fold so that you can kind of see the lines a little bit better. And this one over here. All right, so we have all of the folds ready to go, but we have some trimming to do. The first thing I'm going to do is trim these 2 sections out completely. So I'm going to go and cut on the score line, or maybe slightly inside the score line, so I cut the whole thing off. And I'm going to do it to this side as well. If you want to use a paper trimmer to cut those to make sure they're really straight, that's awesome. But I also, it will be tucked inside the box, so I'm comfortable with it being maybe not quite so perfect. Then, using my paper trimmer, the ruler on it, I am just going to measure, let's see, what am I, oh yeah, okay. I'm going to measure 1 inch down from each of these tabs that are left. So the 1 inch mark is this line right here. So I'm going to mark it here. And the same thing on this side. So 1 inch. And then I'm going to take my scissors or snips and add a diagonal here. Just going to cut that off. You could go further down if you wanted. You could do 1.5 inches. It really doesn't matter. It's just a matter of getting an angle for it. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter how deep the angle is. Just like that. Okay. Then just a few more cuts. So now we go down to these little sections here, and we are going to cut on the lines. And then we're going to cut those at an angle. I think there's an easier way to do that. Let's see. No, I guess that's as good as we can do. From each side, and then cut those at an angle so that the tab gets skinnier on the end like that. Now when we put this together, we'll put the front section, put the sides up, okay? Then we'll tip the other sections so that the tabs go on the outside, and then we'll seal these shorter tabs down. And I'm going to do that with liquid glue. I like the hold of liquid glue a lot. And so I'm just going to tuck those tabs in and bring the short tabs around. By doing the short tabs last, you are making sure that seam is not in the front. So I like that look. Okay. And let me show you the designer series paper I used on this, because if you flip this now, you can put your designer series paper here, and all of the measurements of that designer series paper is right there below, or you can head to my blog and get it there. So this right here is what I used, and the strip is all I have left, and it's not big enough to finish. So it is what I used here. And then I also used that right across the front here. Again, you can see the measurements there or on my blog. And then once the designer series paper is on, then I am going to tuck this flap in. This just helps give it a little more heft and sturdiness. So I'm just gonna stick my fingers in there to get that all tightened up. Yay! Isn't it so cute? And then I put bit of honeys in there, which I have since eaten because I couldn't stand it. Sometimes at night when I'm stamping, I get really snacky. I'm like, what do I have? What kind of boxes do I have with candy here that I can snatch and snitch? So 4 bit of honeys fit perfectly in there. And then let me show you the rest. So I used this little label with Very Vanilla cardstock, and then I added the sentiment. Let me just show you where I got that from. It says, "You deserve a little treat." I just inked up a little treat and added that here. And then for my honey pots, I took this designer series paper, and then I cut it out using the die from the die set. Now you could also stamp it and do it, but it was a lot easier for making multiples to just cut it right out of the paper. And there are so many of them in here. You can get what you need right there on the designer series paper. So I wrapped a little linen thread around there and popped my label up, and it turned out as cute as can be for little Mabel's baby shower. And now Mabel is born, and she is a little honey for sure. Thanks for watching. Head to my blog to get all of the details on this box. Thank you, thank you. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss a single video.